And Little Big Adventure.
Little Big Planet.
Oh, Little Big Adventure. PlayStation
Little
1.
Big Adventure.
No.
PlayStation 1. That was a good game.
Right, one
Really
more
good
game.
game.
One more game. It's
One
like
more.
a Jun game. That if a woman was trying to seduce you with games, these are the games she'd use, I think.
For me, like it's games like Sonic 3 and Knuckles that I will throw on like I'll throw an old album on. You know what I mean? Like it's a comfort game almost.
Yeah. Is there one like that you mentioned yet? Something you always go back to?
Unless you do that with Alone in the Dark. Need to chill out.
If you got Mario Kart.
That's fun. Yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah.
Which one though?
The first one.
The first one.
Was that the first one? SNES, right?
SNES,
yeah.
Yeah, because my dad bought that for me.
Donkey Kong Jr.
Nice.
So there you go.
There you go, 9.
All old school games.
And are you trying to be my girl? If you had to pick one gaming girl character, who would it be? Who is the quintessential female gaming character?
There's such choice. That's what I love.
Well, the one that's most memorable.
Yeah, or the one that you like relate to. That
I
you
don't
dress
know if
up
I
as on
really
the weekends.
no, Lara Croft.
No. He said the one that was most memorable, not memorable.
Yeah.
Did you get it?
Memory. So you're a Lara Croft guy, yeah?
Yeah.
Lara Croft girl there.
Yeah, he sounds well convicted. Either that, or you just backed him into a corner and which is the best gaming girl?
Which is the best girl? Right, done. There you go. And now you all know Jun.
God.
Success.
Can I do Jun?
Yeah, what's that?
Jun, if you were a race car, which would it be and why? No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer that. That's just me parodying Mike's features.
You were parodying it before I even said it, which I think is you know me. I said, "Are you gonna be my girl?"
I saw a little story on Kotaku UK today.
Oh, launched recently.
It said fanboys' reactions to their consoles that they love. Don't know if you guys know anyone like that.
No.
The way people defend their fanboyish consoles online, apparently it's like the way people defend a loved one. So basically, Mike and Mac, the way you regard your PlayStations are the way that most healthy people regard their other halves, their loved ones. You know what I mean?
Oh.
What have you got to say about that?
I kind of partially agree with that.
Cut to Mac's PS4 at home under the covers, like half under the bed covers on the pillow.
It's looked after better than I am, so.
Yeah, that's true. Dusted regularly. Mac's very dusty. This is what I always say.
No, I was at work today and doing very little at the moment, and someone from one of the studios just randomly contacted me and just started slagging off the PS4.
Oh.
And I don't know why, but I instantly got offended, like they were slagging off my own child or something.
No, it's true. Like you just pick.
And I was like, "What are you talking about? There's so little in Xbox One." And yeah, it's funny.
Fair but true. No, but it's like anything. You invest a certain amount of yourself. This goes for anything. People are fanboys about TV shows, bands. When you invest like a lot of actual kind of, I don't know, you put some of your identity into it. You like kind of identify like this is part of me. I like my PlayStation. As soon as that's offended, it's kind of like a little bit is like they're having a go a bit at you. I can see that.
Any input, John? What do you reckon?
On the PS4?
Or just in general?
Just in general.
Yeah, what do you think about the PS4? Shit in it.
You know,
no, I was like rearranging my room because I've got my Wii U out of the box.
Nice. Okay.
Finally.
Yeah.
For the second time ever.
Jun played his Wii U for the first time and then boxed it up again.
He
had such fun.
I was reorganising my room just to get the Wii U out.
Yeah, of course.
And I was looking at my PS4 and I was just thinking to myself, why do they have to make it like that?
You know,
slanty?
I love it.
Because you like to.
I can't. It doesn't fit. Like I've got a bit of OCD. It doesn't really.
Yeah, I know. I've got
know?
a bit of OCD, but I really like the design of it. I think it looks so slick.
It looks really nice, but
Just
like
until
when you're trying to put it in a shelf or something like,
it's like a girl in a dark bar.
Sticks out a little bit.
And you're like, she looks great, and then you get her home and you're like, oh god.
Yeah, when you get a dark light on and her face just glows bright white. I hate it when that happens.
and then you put her back in the box.
Yeah, you put her back in the box. Don't use her again for 6 months. I just put my PS4 and I'm like, it's my surround sound system. It's got like a little DVD player box thing that is like the hub of it all. And it's quite nice. It sits in it, and there's a little slant back. It looks kind of like a ridged back to it. It's cool.
I'm glad you got room for next to your surround sound system on your gold TV stand in your mansion. But Mike, most people like Jun, they live in small shacks under railway stations. So where's he gonna? Come on,
I've asked him to move in with me 1,000 times. He doesn't want to. It's what I call the PS4 gamble. Is when you want to eject a disc from your PS4.
What do you mean, Mike? Everyone calls it that.
No, you don't remember which one is the off button and on button, or even where the real button is in the PS4.
Yeah.
So I always just close my eyes and just jab one and hope it's the eject button.
I just poke around until something happens.
Usually it turns off in the middle of a game.
Similar to my technique with the
Men.
ladies.
The problem I have is that the disc slot's on the opposite side from a PS3, so every now and then I try to put the disc into the
'cause
USB side, and
It's
I'm
a
like,
slot.
whoops.
It's a
No,
slot
on the
the
left.
whole way.
You're on your 5th copy of Killzone, aren't you? You've
Pretty
snapped
much.
so many discs. Before I continue, if you like what we do here at Ready Game Fire, please rate, review and subscribe to us on iTunes. This helps us get more exposure and all that glorious stuff. If you don't use iTunes, you can find our podcasts on Spreaker and Stitcher, and you can get those apps on Android devices. Please listen to our stuff over there, and please follow us on Spreaker. Subscribing to Ready Game Fire on platforms like YouTube and iTunes helps us out more than you know. So if you haven't done it already, please get over and do that now. Don't forget to watch, like, subscribe, and tell your friends. Cheers! Steve Edwards from Ready Game Fire. He's not on this episode, but he came around recently. We signed into his account on my Xbox One and recognise him with the Kinect. It says, "Hi, Steve."
That's nice.
Yeah, it is nice. The other day I was playing Titanfall, though, by myself. Mm-hmm. Steve was long gone. I'm in the middle of a game. And it says, "Hi, Steve." I'm like, Booted me back to the front end. I was like, wait, what? The console thought that I had left the room and had turned into Steve.
Or he
Come
just
back in the room.
appeared.
Because it's like, well, Steve. And then I went to the bit where you can see the Kinect screen. I'm sitting there holding my controller. Above it, there's a little arrow with Steve written next to it.
I want to put it down to the level of cynicism. You've now reached Steve's level. So
He's a cynical man sometimes.
Well, I'm glad you went with
Love you, Steve.
Steve's cynical side and not, the fact that maybe I was having a particularly ugly face day that day.
Wow.
Take that, Steve!
Oh,
God, Steve, I'm sorry.
He's like,
God, Steve, I'm
he's gonna
sorry.
leave.
Frodo, I'm sorry!
I always thought you were Sam.
That was Sean Bean.
Oh. I thought it was
You know-
Sam. Shit.
You know when Frodo runs away from him, he's like,
Ah, yes.
he goes, Frodo, I did not see.
Do your Sean Bean in Game of Thrones?
What do you mean? I don't have a Sean Bean in Game of Thrones. Which one? I don't have a Sean Bean.
No!
Which of you was a marksman at 10?
Don't have it! It's good! It's good! You did it! You're
He's
fine!
back.
He's back!
Back me in the corner there. Yeah.
I'm a cornerbacker.
I did record a pretty decent bug in Titanfall the other day, which is when I realised that the only reason why these new consoles can record footage is for all of the QA departments around the world. And they're like, oh yeah, it's because consumers want this feature. Is it? Yeah, we're pretty sure consumers want this feature. But yeah, it's a pretty decent bug. Fell in the floor, was there for ages. I was killing people. They couldn't see me. It was great.
Oh, wow.
If you're watching the video version of this podcast, you'll be seeing the footage now.
Nice.
Uploaded it to YouTube. Someone disliked it. The head of Respawn QA. It's like, that prick. This is my job on the line, you bastard.
Found it.
Yeah, good stuff. And I'm not going to talk about Titanfall that much on this podcast, except to say that I'll give the negative sides that I've noticed since it's come out. The story is laughable. Jesus. I said it was going to be 6v6 Spec Ops. Was I wrong? So fingers crossed for an actual really decent campaign mode in the second game. Yeah.
I finished one of them, and there's a bit at the end where the strings kick in. There's this, it's pretty classic sad music, and you're sitting there and you just don't know what's going on. But I still felt sad, but I didn't know why. And it was just
You idiot!
I was so confused. It was the music.
Mike's reaction to sad music is instant, and it doesn't matter surroundings.
I know.
So what happens when you hear a bit of like a stringed piece of music come on when you're shopping in Tesco? Are you on your knees weeping in the frozen
I just
aisle?
crawl into the shopping trolley and just roll slowly down the aisle.
The story mode though is just sort of multiplayer matches like one after another with the story going on in the background regardless of what whatever you do in the mission, the story plays out like whatever. In the top right hand corner of your screen you basically see like a video conversation between two NPCs and you're like, guys, can you shut up? I'm trying to capture this hard point. But it's like, do you know what it reminds me of, Mac? You know in South Park when in the Towley episode, do you want to get high? Do you want to go get high? They kidnap the boys Okama, Oh, come on, Gamesphere!
Oh yeah.
And,
Gamesphere.
And they finally get it back and they plug it in and they're just playing it. They're like, yeah, our Gamesphere. They're playing 4-player games. And in the background, you've got like the aliens and the military chief going, all right, boys, we'll tell you what really happened. You see, the aliens set up a conspiracy that blah, blah, blah. And then the boys are paying no attention to it whatsoever, but playing the game and the aliens are like, well, we had to, boys, because our home world was dying. And no one's paying any attention, and that's what it's like in the Titanfall campaign.
That's Titanfall,
Yeah.
basically.
The game still plays like an absolute dream, though.
So
and
fun,
I can't put it down. I'm a Generation 3. Thanks very much.
Wow.
I'll be Gen 10 one day. That was
still-
Gen 10, not Ben 10.
Ben 10. I'm still level 20 of Gen 1.
That's because you never play with us.
Yes.
You know where we are.
Yeah. So I moved the Xbox One to my place now, so it's all good.
What do you mean? Where was it?
I moved house.
You've moved house?
Yeah.
Thanks for telling me! So, Mike, do you want to see what a real feature looks like?
Yeah.
Right, well, here's a little background information. Jun, you're just a member of the audience for this one,
Yeah.
but don't worry. Prepare to be entertained.
Okay.
So, Mac, you grew up in Spain ages ago. You've lost your mother tongue over the years,
I
have you
did
not?
indeed.
And Mike, you've been taking Spanish lessons recently.
Yeah, for like a
Oh,
week
no.
or so.
It's time to play Let's Get Real.
Get it out.
Real.
You are going to hear a game synopsis in Spanish.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
When you think you know what it is,
Shit.
shout out your name as your buzzer,
As in just the name of the game?
or a game series,
Yeah.
but it's in Spanish. When you think you know what it is, shout out your name.
Okay, Jesus. He knows more Spanish than I do. Okay.
Does he though? Because
Do I? That's the thing.
and if you don't know, it will
Shout
get
out
passed
your name.
over.
Oh, Jesus.
Are you boys ready?
No.
Here comes the first one.
En este juego, en tercera persona, eres un cazatesoros perseguido por mercenarios. Debes sobrevivir al mismo tiempo que descubrir los terribles secretos de la misteriosa isla.
Mike! Tomb Raider!
I'm afraid that's incorrect. Mac.
Secrets of Monkey Island?
Oh!
Drinking something.
So you're hunting mercenaries.
On a mysterious island.
Yeah, you're hunting mercenaries on
Jun,
mysterious
Jun,
island.
wait, well, hold on. Sorry, this is a bit of a wild card here. Is your
Yeah.
Spanish better than Mac and Mike?
Probably.
Jun!
Jun knows like 4
Hablo
languages. so-
español.
Ah, there you go.
Pero poquito.
Yo también.
Sure, yeah. Jun.
Jun's in too. Far Cry 3.
Mac,
I'm going to say mercenaries. I don't know.
new challenger Jun.
Uncharted 2.
It was Uncharted
I
1.
There you go.
I said
Oh, close.
Oh, Jun gets it.
Yep.
Jesus. Okay.
I said something about drinking, I'm sure, or living.
What was that word then? The word they didn't know?
Cazatesoros is also the word I couldn't say.
What is it then?
What is it?
Cazatesoros is a treasure hunter.
Oh, there you
Is
go.
it?
Question dos.
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 No, sorry, game.
Huevo dos.
Juego.
Game dos.
Juego número dos.
Oh, now you remember your Spanish, do you?
Oh, yeah.
We know
Sí,
that one.
sí.
Here we go.
En este laberinto de luces, debes comer todo en vista al mismo tiempo evitando los fantasmas que te persiguen.
Luigi's Mansion!
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say that.
No.
Ah!
Inviting ghosts.
Luigi's Mike.
Can we hear it again?
Can we, yeah, can we
Wait, no,
hear
I already
it
have my
again,
guess.
please?
Oh.
Oh,
So I guess again now, so it's rewritten nice and again.
okay.
That's the rules.
En este laberinto de luces, debes comer de todo en vista al mismo tiempo evitando los fantasmas que te persiguen.
Mike, is it Ghost Chase in Mario Thingy All-Star Party on the Wii U?
I can't give you any hints. You're going to be annoyed
The
with this.
Wii U game. What is it
Ghost
called?
Chase.
Ghost Chase. It's Ghost Chase.
No, it can't be.
If I'm close, you gotta give it to me.
No.
Yeah.
God, my Ghost Chasing. What's that fucking game called? Nintendo Land.
Yeah. Still wrong though.
Is it a Wii
But I
U
remembered the
party?
game.
There's a Labyrinth of Light.
Yeah,
Is
Labyrinth
that-
of Light.
Yeah.
Ghosts.
You understood that.
But I just
Well, that-
can't
I
think of the
didn't get-
game.
Jun really does have the spec.
He's good.
You're going to kick yourselves. Are you ready?
Yeah.
To kick yourselves?
Guess, just
No, I
guess.
did. I said like
did?
Mario
I
World,
don't know.
guess.
Because I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's Pac-Man.
Labyrinth of Light.
Aye.
That was.
Wow.
A Maze of Light. Ghosts eating.
Didn't hear eating.
Yeah.
Where's eating in there?
Got mail.
Eat
If
what
I
you
know
see,
eat,
is
I'd have done it. Do you hear eat?
Hear what? Yeah.
And you still didn't think of
comment.
Pac-Man?
It was repeated twice.
Because I didn't know. I couldn't think what game it was.
Alright, it's going well. No one got that one. But John's still winning 1 point.
Game Trez.
Cuando vienen a por ti los muertos vivientes, debes trabajar en un equipo de 4 y sobrevivir el embate para escapar
Mike!
con vuestras
James.
Left 4 Dead.
Oh, me too.
Well done.
Equipo de cuatro. So
It's a team of four.
Yeah,
It's all good.
Uno apiece for Mike and Jun, native Spanish
I
speaker.
said Left 4 Dead too. I said Left 4 Dead as well.
Oh, really?
After
I
he
had
put
my
his
hand
hand
up
up.
though. I had my hand up whilst he's saying. I'm like, oh wait.
I'm afraid we can't give it to you, Mac.
That's fine.
Game the fourth.
Utiliza bloques para crear cualquier cosa que puedas imaginar en este juego popular con los jóvenes.
Mike,
That could be anything.
Titanfall. What about you?
Have you been taking Spanish lessons?
Yeah, I got the last one, right, didn't I?
Or have you been taking the money from Alison and going to the
Jesus.
arcade for an hour?
She said using machines in a popular video game
They're
series.
popular with children.
Utiliza
Yeah.
bloques para crear cualquier cosa que puedas imaginar.
You can make whatever you can imagine.
Utiliza bloques.
Mike, Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts.
Lego something.
I go with Little Big Planet.
You gotta say your name. He's not doing the game right. When you got a guess, you say your name and then the answer.
That's pretty much.
James. Little Big Planet.
Is that right?
God, you guys are once again going to be kicking yourselves. Is that the final answers
That's
from
not
all of you?
nuts and bolts.
A Lego game.
Lego. Little Big Planet. Always yours. Nuts and bolts.
You give up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Minecraft, guys.
Oh.
But that's not popular amongst children's popular.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
know
it
it
is.
is. Massive. What's that first name?
Mac, you clearly don't hang around with enough children.
You don't.
I do not. I should probably hang around schools a bit more, shouldn't
You
I?
should. Yeah.
Clearly.
Just
I
smile a bit more
I
as
think
well.
if there's anything you've learned from this game, it's
that?
definitely that. You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
En este juego diriges a un héroe mudo en sus intentos de rescatar a una famosa princesa rubia del mago malvado y sus tropas.
James. Is this Mario?
Oh, I'm afraid it's not Mario.
Yeah, he dropped it. Can you start again, please? Because I got really concentrated.
Oh, yeah.
You go with your little James.
James.
James. Jesse. That's
You-
nerdy. Right, carry on.
You don't say your name enough, Mac.
You don't. You're not used
I'm
to
going
it.
to now.
En este juego diriges a un héroe mudo en sus intentos de rescatar a una famosa princesa rubia del mago malvado y sus tropas.
Famous blonde princess.
Mike. Legend of Zelda.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 to Mike, 1 to Jun, who's not even supposed to be playing.
Yeah.
And 0 to Mac. He was born in Spain.
So if Mike gets
Oh,
this
well,
one
no.
right,
It's over.
Mike's won.
Okay, this is good.
Oh shit.
Utiliza el ratón para dirigir a tus tropas sobre la tierra y los océanos para conquistar el mundo en una serie de estrategia en tiempo real.
No, man, got nothing. Got nothing for that.
Can we hear that again?
Yes.
Utiliza el ratón para dirigir a tus tropas sobre la tierra y los océanos para conquistar el mundo en esta serie de estrategia y en tiempo real.
Mike. Civilization?
It's very close. I'm looking for a more specific answer.
Civilization 5?
Yeah. Well, by that I mean more specifically, I want it correct.
Oh, right, okay.
James. I'm going with Age of Empires.
Oh, do you know what? I think once again I was too vague.
Mike, it's Total War series. Hey!
You know the win. You already guessed and you got it wrong.
I got Civilization!
You got
I
it
pulled
wrong.
you, or did you hear about
You got it
conquering the
wrong.
whole of the world? Did
Yes,
you hear
of
that?
course.
Then why weren't you thinking of the games I was thinking of?
So you've won,
Yeah.
Mike. Do you want to go home with what you've already won, or would you like to gamble everything
Always-
for the last
always
for the
gamble.
last
Always
question?
Always gamble.
Ooh.
Okay, Mike. So remember, if you get this wrong,
Yeah.
you lose everything.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm fine.
Okay, you
I'm
ready?
used to having nothing.
But
They're
you
back.
only get one answer.
Oh yeah, shit, yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to take
Your
your
first answer.
Got to take your
Yeah.
fun. This is like your favourite show, Saturday Night Takeaway,
Yeah,
Matt.
okay.
Sound like takeaway.
With Ant and Deck.
Oh yeah, totally.
Well, you're all,
Here we go.
well, you tweet about it a lot.
Okay.
Except I don't. Why you?
Don't forget, he is at the McNerney 13. If you get this wrong, we'll put it to Jun and Mac, and they'll go home with everything that you've won.
Everything that I've won.
So
the holiday to Camber Sands.
The lifetime supply of crisps.
Yep, the mini fridge.
The new washer dryer.
Yep, the washing line.
I advise you to listen to the full thing before you answer.
I'm gonna answer the first 5 words. I'm telling you that. I'm gonna be straight in.
Got to take your first answer.
El famoso fontanero italiano y sus amigos arrancan motores y se tiran cáscaras en una carrera hasta el final.
Something about a famous fountain.
Sort of.
I got a bit stunned by it. The pressure really. I forgot everything you said after that.
Do you want me to repeat?
Yeah, once. Oh, sorry.
El famoso fontanero italiano y sus amigos arrancan motores y se tiran cáscaras en una carrera hasta el final.
I know this one. I think.
This is going to be like your Spanish exam.
I mean, just because of the whole Italian thing and something about motors, I'm going to have to go with Forza.
What?
I did.
Is that not right?
There's logic there.
Yeah.
You're part the way there.
But unfortunately,
You lose everything.
as logical as that answer
Everything?
was, you lost the speedboat, Mike.
Oh!
James.
Hold on.
Combo breaker. It would be Mario Kart, I believe.
Yeah.
I was going to
of course.
say Mario Kart.
I can't say which one.
You
though.
said Forza.
It was just
What went wrong? Something changed in my brain.
I
heard
heard
it too many
Italian and
times.
racing, so Forza.
I forget Mario's Italian.
Famous Italian plumber and
I
his
don't
friend.
really know the Spanish of a plumber. Weirdly enough, I haven't learnt Spanish for a plumber yet.
Why
You
not?
got fountain though, so you knew it was related to water.
That's a great point.
How are you going to order a plumber when you're in Spain?
I know. Damn it.
I'm curious, Jun, did you know that one?
No, I didn't guess.
I first thought, because I heard races with your
I
friends, I thought Mario Kart, and then something happened. Something changed in my brain. That was good. Thank you, Annie.
That was amazing.
Annie O'Brien. Woo!
Yes, thank you to Ready Game Fire's own Annie O'Brien for doing us that Spanish.
To pull in our Latino fans, isn't it, of course?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That was fucking hilarious,
Border
Mike.
break.
I thought you were going to get it. I was like, he's got it. He's getting the speedboat and the helicopter. But no.
No.
Now he gets to watch them fly away.
Is Forza even Italian? I don't know.
It sounds it. You're probably right, but
Yeah.
again,
I think so.
Occam's Razor. This is a lesson in Occam's Razor. Go for the simplest, most direct answer.
so I
There's
heard
some you didn't do that.
I heard green shells. I heard let's a go. I'm going to say Gran Turismo.
How do we go from a peak like
I
that?
fucking don't know.
It's got to be all downhill from here.
I'll tell you where we go. We go to Seattle. What? To listen to Nirvana? No. What? To go see Dr. Fraser Crane?
Oh.
No.
I'm Dr. Fraser Crane and I'm listening.
That's right. We're talking about Infamous Second Son.
Was Niles the second son, or was that Fraser? I don't remember that.
No.
Yeah, why isn't it about Niles?
Oh, I know.
I was very lucky to get a copy of this game from Eugen. But you've just told me that you've not actually played it yourself.
I have played the first 10 minutes.
Oh.
I am going to play the whole thing.
That's called the menu and the options, though, isn't it?
It-
Invert the
It started pretty
camera.
quickly.
I did the spray can bit, and I
Strange
got my
voice.
power.
Smoky
I-
voice.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
your power of graffiti. I've written
Yeah.
down here graffiti sim of the year
Yeah.
with a question mark
Break
there.
hand
But
thing threw me off.
Absolutely
I love it.
brilliant.
I was shaking that fucking
I
old
know.
school controller. I was like shaking the controller. I was like, why is it not working?
It says
It's
very
not
clearly,
working.
turn
Yeah,
your controller
well,
sideways.
I didn't even see that.
We can't say that.
Steve did
It's
that as well.
Almost a TRC violation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, there
I
you
bet that
go.
really put him off. Clearly, there's a large focus on graffiti. We went to that preview event to see it. And they had a big,
large
focus
focus.
about all the graffiti they had. And in the game, it's like a massive thing. And the graffiti art in the game is beautiful. They must have got a great artist in to do it all. But it's kind of annoying doing it. You kind of want a bit of free reign. And
they brought in a great
They brought in
artist
Banksy,
to
yeah.
copy Banksy.
that's it. But no, it's fun. Some of them are really funny. And when the
Oh
problem is,
yeah, no, they are great, and I love how they integrated into the whole moral thing. That is cool.
that's true. Yeah, you choose whether you do a nice one or a bad one.
Because I'm playing as a hero. If you choose the evil graphs, are they like knobs?
I
and
do,
stuff?
probably, yeah. But like, I do wish there's a bit more, I don't know, freedom, or like you kind of half do it and then just finishes for you as well, which I'm a bit like, oh, I'd like to at least. But it's cool. I like the you tilt. I love little gimmicks like that where you turn the controller on its side, shake it, and you hear the little speaker from the
You've
controller.
mainly been talking about the speaker in the PS4 controller today.
I have. It's weird.
Mainly.
I like it. I love the sound when you smoke around, which is what the technical word for it, and you kind of hear the kind of really chalky, kind of dusty sound that sounds like handling charcoal coming from your. Good stuff. I don't
And
know.
when you're
just-
draining it as well. It sounds
yeah, and
like
you're going to hear
it's
this kind of
all- it's
crunkly.
like-
It's lovely. It's lovely.
Yeah.
It's good.
And that's it. That's Infamous. Graffiti and speakers. Done.
And that was episode 55 of the RGF podcast. Bye-bye!
Right.
What I've always loved about the Infamous games is how they play, and once again, this game feels so great to play, and it's one of those games that plays so well that when I leave my flat and go outside in the real world, the real world,
Yeah.
I think about traversing that world
Yeah.
the way I do in Infamous. You know, I used to think that when I used to play the Tony Hawk's games all the time. You say, oh, I could grind that rail, or I could do that, or whatever. And now I'd be like, God, are my stupid legs? God, am I not at the tube station yet? Fucking hell. I'd be up a chimney and gliding all the way over there by
How
now.
do you think I sprained my ankle? You know,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
exactly it. I
Trying
just
to
didn't
shove this on the
realise
chimney.
where reality started.
Yeah, I don't know if that means, hey, kid, you've been playing too many video games, but you know what I mean? Something that affects the way that you, when you look at the world, like you think about how much fun getting around the world in Infamous is, you know, and it leaves a lasting impression, which
It helps. They always model their cities off of other real cities. And
this is the first real one, right?
They had the first Infamous one was Empire City, which was trying to be like a New York, and 2 was like New Orleans, which was trying to be a New Orleans, so it was more swampy. But it is that thing. So it
And
just
this one's Seattle, and it's trying to
Seattle
be like Chicago. Isn't
yeah,
it?
I know, it's stupid. They should have just gone to Seattle, shouldn't they?
Coffee shops,
Real world.
lots of coffee shops.
Lots of coffee shops.
Most of the footage that will go with this dialogue will be Delsin running around outside coffee shops. But I haven't found a Cafe Nervosa yet, Mac. So
What?
yeah, I know.
They need to put that in there.
I don't know if there are any actual direct Frasier references in the game,
Oh man, it'd be amazing if they did.
but there better be.
I'll be streaming
I found a
those.
few Sucker Punch references. They like to do a bit of sly self-referential
Well,
stuff in there.
Aren't they based in Seattle? So what happens when you go to where
You
their
apparently,
studios?
I haven't been there. There's apparently a bit of, I think there's a bit of graffiti outside their building. I think I haven't seen it yet.
That's cool.
That's what I heard.
What does it say? Like best game dev?
Yeah, ever.
Ever.
Yeah. No, it's like a lot of Sly Cooper and Jack and Dax and stuff. No,
Jack and Dax is not
another
evil.
one. What's the other fucking?
Call yourself a
double one?
fanboy.
I get confused. Cut that out. I'll be discredited from the PlayStation Society.
I never finished Infamous 2. I never finished Infamous 1, but I got a lot further in 1 than I did in 2. But already and Second Son's been criticised for this, but already the characters in this game are resonating with me more than Cole and Zeke ever did. Zeke got on my tits.
It's not until it's Infamous 1 that the characters didn't really click together, mainly because there was no performance capture. It was all done in game. It was the cutscenes were very.
I know Infamous 1's quite old.
Yeah, two has some great between Cole and Zeke because
Yeah.
one there's a whole lot of betrayal and shit. 2 actually Cole and Zeke is a very good relationship. There's one great scene later on where they kind of just chill out, have some beer, and it's
That's
a really
cool.
kind of like slow, touching moment.
Yeah, well,
You're right. Is
yeah, I mean, I haven't seen all of it, so I can't. It feels like I can't comment. But immediately, these characters grabbed me, and I like the brother relationship, as teenage angsty as Delsin can be. And you're like, you know, like I said, I didn't say what age I was.
shit.
Like
21.
I didn't say I'm
21.
29 today, so you know, I'm like, come on, Delsin, grow up. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to do another graph and another. Why didn't you? I fire out that game, and I'm like, why aren't you in school, Delsin?
He's 24.
Well,
he's 24
yeah.
in the game.
Yeah, done my research.
Why aren't you in work then, Delsin? Why aren't you in
They
work?
live in this little tribal home where they all have a nice little. Oh, I'm jealous of that. They have a little.
I like the introduction to the villain at the start. I like the fact that she's an evil dinner lady of such.
She's no problem with it.
With
She's an old woman,
superpowers.
yeah.
Scary
I have to say, yeah, my one.
I hear that's quite painful.
Yeah, my one problem with the game is this.
Can you write me lines on how painful it is?
Yeah.
Have it on my desk on Monday morning.
This concrete in your legs. My only problem with the game really is that I love the idea. The setup for the story is Delsin's whole like family and tribe are dying, so he has to go and steal the power that is killing them to cure them.
Yeah.
But the power that's killing them is they've got concrete in their legs. That's what they're dying of. Concrete in their legs.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit silly.
Well, of course it sounds weird when you say it like that.
Yeah, but that's what it is. They keep. It's what not what's nice is they quite he like references the powers he has. He's like, yeah, I got smoke powers, neon powers. He like talks about it as if he's playing a game, which is kind of as you kind of would if you were in the real world and you got powers. You'd be like, fuck, I've got smoke powers.
So you got a problem with the concrete?
The concrete. It's the fact they call it the power of concrete.
Well,
It's just a bit. It's just a bit.
Why? What else do they call it?
I don't know, like stony.
No,
Like Stone
that
Doom.
sounds like
Doomstone.
I think they're just
natural,
trying to. They're just trying to get as many different conduit powers out there. I think it's quite cool. I know it's a bit weird when they continually say the phrase "she's got concrete in her legs."
Yeah, that's
It's
what
like,
I mean. That's
I'm
what I
sorry,
mean.
what? Sorry, doctor, what I said was she's got concrete in her legs. That sounds weird,
Yeah.
sure, but when you fight the enemies that have got the power,
So good.
it looks
I'll
fantastic.
tell you why I think it doesn't land is because they treat it. If someone in the game had kind of commented it as being a bit odd. They were so ready to be like, oh yeah, shit, there's concrete in their legs. Fuck, we better cure that concrete in their legs. Whereas they've been like, well, hold up, this is a bit mental. Why is there concrete in their legs?
Stop saying
Concrete in her legs.
in there.
But apart from that, I can look past it and get immersed in the whole. Like, nope, he's just trying to save his tribe, so it's all good from there.
I've not seen too much of the story outside of that. I've been doing a lot of
Yeah.
blast shard collecting.
Yeah.
Oh, how about that? When you go in an area and it says, hey, the blast shards are on the map.
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
Because it's like, cut out the middleman. Finally, we're there. It's like, well, we know all you guys go online and get the map wikis and the walkthrough, so fuck it, we'll just put it in the game.
Yeah.
About time.
They did Infamous 1. It was infamous for the fact that the blast shards weren't on the map. Infamous 2, you clicked, it got like a little radar of nearby ones, which I thought was pretty good. But now, they've just gone, fuck it, they're there. And what I really like actually is that, and this is kind of random, like some are stuck away in these little machines and these little flying machines.
They use power resources for scanners.
Yeah, somewhere they use as a power, and some just blow up. They do a mini explosion whenever you blow up a little like a little home base thing for the DUP guys. Yeah. And you suddenly create a few of them. It's a bit more kind of realistic.
The trucks,
the big old trucks, yeah. It's good shit.
The thing I didn't understand was that they're saying that conduits are outlawed in this story.
Bioterrorists.
Yeah, conduits.
But then how come a lot of the DUP soldiers have got these powers?
Because because they're legalized, aren't they? They're like they're hired. So they're kind of registered part of the government.
They're a hypocritical.
It's a bit
government
because the main character Augustine, she's like the big boss.
Yeah, and
she loans out her powers to them. It's her power. She's kind of spliced into them. But they're all they know who they are. Whereas the conduits, they're all off. They don't know who they are. They don't know where they are. They're off the grid, so they're a bit more secret. It's very X-Men-y / comic booky, which I like.
Well, it's got its comic book aesthetic back for telling stories, which is cool. I mean, the game looks so slick, such a slick product, and so nice to have that AAA game to play on our PS4s. Finally, you took your time, Jun, with that one.
Me. Me. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Infamous it's rocked my socks.
I thought you were going to say it's rock solid.
It's rock solid.
It's concrete solid.
It's got a really cool element to it, the whole clearing out certain areas, which I always love. But compared to something like Far Cry 3, which had these great moments taking out all the outposts, like in Infamous Second Son, you go around and clear the DUP out. It's quite formulaic in Infamous. You go there, take out the area, kill all the guys, do all the side missions, and it's done. What
I love in Second Son is the almost immediate emphasis on the flight, because in Infamous 1 especially, it took ages to get the gliding power, and in this game it's immediately slingshot yourself up off a car or through a chimney, and immediately you do that dash forward, and then it's great. And this is the thing, if I weren't 29 when I left my house, I'd be arms by my side going
Yeah, it's a bit Iron Man-y. It looks.
It is, yeah.
It looks
cool.
so
I do
pretty.
that around Tesco's.
It's a gorgeous game.
I was saying to you, I'll never get bored of
the vistas. The vistas.
It looks crazy, incredible, the whole thing, but it's from the small to the big.
It does have that sort of general open world problem where you just can't go in enough buildings, and that's not an Infamous problem. It's even if you could just go into one of the many coffee shops.
Have a coffee.
Because every fucking building is a coffee shop. It's so realistic. I just wish I'd been to Seattle before, so I had a point of reference. Never been there. Obviously, immediately tried to go up the Space Needle.
Yeah, apparently you can never. Once there's a mission where you go up it, and then you can't ever climb it again.
Really?
I was listening to. I think it was Podcast Beyond, where they were talking They were talking about how they obviously a lot of stuff's licensed out by the city, and they want to use it. But the Space Needle's guys said, you can use it, but you can't jump off it, obviously, because they don't want to have videos of people leaping off the top of their thing. So I don't think you can actually jump off it.
There should be a chimney at the base that takes you right up to the fucking top.
Well, there is in the mission that you play through it, but then...
Can you imagine, though?
Yeah.
It would take you to the top.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
That one place in the city that would get you so high that you could just glide anywhere from there.
Yeah, I think it's not in there, unfortunately.
If you're listening, Sucker Punch, Space Needle DLC.
Open the Space Needle.
Frasier would get to the top of the Space Needle.
Fucking would.
I like the logo that's on the back of his jacket that sort of represents the moral choice in the game. In the reviews that I've read, this game seems to be getting criticised for its moral choice.
Yeah,
its moral choices compared to the other ones.
I haven't got far enough, but so far I've only had 3 really big choices, and I'm about 75% way through the game, and both were of course the usual.
Save the granny or don't save the granny.
Exactly, and the best stuff in the game is still when it punishes you for killing civilians, and you make. The thing I've always loved about the Infamous games is that kind of comic book hero feel of like you want to fight dudes and unleash all your powers, but there's those civilians running around, so you try and take the fight a little bit away.
I was just about to say
that still is in there, and I really like that still.
I'm always killing people by accident, though, and I'm playing as a hero. It's especially hard when I was playing evil last time.
Oh yeah, well you're supposed to. It needs to punish you more though, if you ask me. I've killed a lot of people.
It's too hard though to do accidentally.
But I want to be punished more for it. Because
but it does feel like it's not like that's a really good point that you just said there, and something I had not thought of. But it seems to be more like just a thing that still happens in video games. I mean, if it was real life, and we were shooting shit out of our hands, though, we'd be able to aim better than we could have. I mean, we'd be more aware of what we were doing. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
Not if you're being shot at by like a million guys with machine guns and rocks, and you're like, fuck.
That is a good point, though. It's like
I love it. I just wish that, because the problem is I'm already at level 5. The highest level, and I've still got a quarter of the game left, and there's nothing left to.
You only are? Really? Highest level?
Because I was doing lots of stuff as I go, and it means that it doesn't really mean a lot, because of the whole like you either be good and you get good powers or bad and bad powers. There's no way you can be like a little bit good in one area and get some like good sniping abilities, but maybe you're a bit of an underhanded dude and you get some other powers like that. It's still very separate.
Well, the problem with moral choice in gaming. Well, one of the problems with that is the fact that when you have that choice and then you make sequels to the game, they've had to have gone, okay, we have to go off the good ending to Infamous 2, and that's just like a huge problem there. Yeah. I mean, how would you get around that? You can't really. I mean,
you beat Mass Effect.
Couldn't they have just told the story of Infamous Second Son like on the other side of the world, where whatever may have happened at the end of Infamous 2?
Unrelated. We'll see how it plays out. The thing that worked well that Infamous 1 and 2 I think got away with it because it was quite binary, but actually some of the choices you start to make get pretty tough and a bit complicated, especially at Infamous 2, which we have talked about before in the Moments of the Year Awards a few years ago that got a bit of stick for.
Was that where you had to pick like
and 2, where you suddenly you pick, even though you've had the whole time you've had your little kind of good angel and bad angel basically, but at the end of it the good angel's telling you to do the bad thing, the bad angel's telling you to do the right thing, and that's a little bit conflicting. That was quite smart. So I have no idea if Second Son does anything like that, but it hasn't yet. So I think maybe that's why it's getting a bit compared, because it's still very binary and very boring, the choices, and there's no complexity to it.
I'd say it does that quite early on, because even when the old woman, she's like, she's willing to keep your secret hidden and stuff. Yeah. But even then, it's like, that's clearly the bad choice to get her in trouble, but she's willing to go along with it as well.
Like you want a choice to come. This is where moral games, the best games, the best moral choices, that you choose it because of how you feel, not because I want to do that because I'll get the blue points, which gives you the ability to buy the good power. It's a choice that you don't really know the outcome of. The ones that you're like, I don't know if this is actually going to affect anything, and you just. Those are the best ones, and Infamous doesn't do that.
The problem is with, because I've played games like that before. Well, like when I was doing my Paragon playthrough in Mass Effect, every now and then when you get the red trigger, when you're like, this guy does deserve to get shot in the head. Yeah. But when you play games more like, bit of good, bit of bad, you get penalised for that, because in games these days, it's good ending, bad ending. Moral choice, I mean, how do you think, do you guys think we've come far enough when it comes to these moral choices in games? Because it's still pretty much the way it's always been. Good, bad.
The way you need to do more choices is not have it. It never should close off options. It has to just open up a new set. The thing I look at still, and it's a simpler game, but Walking Dead does it so well because it never really. The choices you make are based off your emotional instincts. They don't unlock a new set of powers or guns. They just kind of open up conversation branches, and the story still plays out kind of the same way. But you start to feel like.
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah.
And that also needs more, but it's tough when you get into a more, say, standard game like Infamous, where it's all about powers and stuff. That. You start to want to tie it into unlocks, and then it becomes a bit boring. Whereas you said to me the best game, I think that was the best example of moral choice, not really mattering about the way the game plays.
It's Catherine.
Yeah,
another game where Troy Baker's in as a voice actor in that.
Well, he's the
he is cool. Yeah, of course he is. Yeah, Troy Baker.
Yeah.
He's the new Nolan, isn't he? And then I'm playing Infamous, and I'm getting messages from Nolan, and I'm like, is he a little bit pissed off at Troy? And he's just like. I'm here to help you out, Delsin. You fucking work-stealing prick! What did you say? I meant go and get the new audio log. Fucking work-stealing prick! Troy Baker! Well, they've both done intros for Ready Game Fire, so I like them. I like them equally.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, it's Nolan North, Nathan Drake from Uncharted, and you're listening to Ready Game Fire. And why wouldn't you? It's awesome. Hey, this is Troy Baker, Booker DeWitt from BioShock Infinite, and I'm not afraid of God, but I am afraid of the Ready Game Fire podcast.
Well, Catherine
Catherine is
told us about Catherine.
Catherine is great
because, well, if you're a man, that likes his women, it plays up on your emotions that you know what you're doing is wrong, but you want to find you want to find out more. No other game does it. It reflects your personality. Well, not even your personality.
It's like, come on, she's Slayer.
I'd say
and you're like,
just to give a little backstory, so people might understand. So in Catherine,
so you're a dude in a long-term relationship with this girl called Catherine, right?
And then your dreams start getting invaded by this really sexy, bosomy lady, also called Catherine, same as your girlfriend. And so it just starts kind of tugging on that. Yeah, very well. No, a bit confusing, I think you find.
You're never going to scream out the wrong name, though, are you?
Well, that's fair.
Unless you go, Catherine with a K.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Oh no.
In Catherine, the way it works as a game is you've got big puzzle sections, which piss me right off because they get well difficult.
Yeah, they are really hard.
But that really has no real bearing on what you choose. But it's almost like it's almost like two games, and that second game is all about the storyline where you choose. Oh, do you go in the bathroom and look at the sexy pictures of Catherine with a K?
On your phone.
And you do, and you think, if you start to feel a little guilty when you go and
I know,
and you
don't. So many people must do that.
Exactly. You don't
so many people must check out photos of
other
real females.
You don't know me at all, man. You don't know. No,
you don't know my search history.
Because I was on her profile for research. I was just reading the articles.
You know, with things like Instagram. You know.
Yeah, stuff happens.
And then you come back to your sofa and Alison goes, "You're right, Mike." And you're like, "I haven't done anything.
Just leave me alone."
But yeah, no, you're right. It's stuff like Walking Dead that's now taking us into subtle moral choices that we don't even possibly realise that we're making.
It's exactly, you don't know what's going to happen. And Catherine, of course, I haven't finished it, but I assume in the end
they have that meter.
Yeah. Oh, and also one thing it does is quite cool. At the end of before every level, it just gives you a random question. Like it just says like, "Would you ever look at a girl's bum?" And you just say yes or no.
Is this a trick question?
No, but and again, it has nothing to do. It literally just asks you like ethical questions, and it doesn't affect anything. Other it then tells you how everyone else voted when they played the game.
All right, go on.
Totally disconnected.
Give me the Catherine ethical test.
Would you have the nice conversation with a friend of your...
No, I'd go with the slutty girl. Good!
78% of people said yes.
One of the first games with a moral choice in it that I remember playing is also one of my favourites, and that's Dark Forces 2: Jedi Knight.
Star Wars games are always big.
On the PC. Well, it also makes complete sense when you've got a moral choice. You've got the light side of the Force and the dark side of the Force. You know, it's the first game where I remember having like innocent NPCs just knocking about that if you killed, you know, your dark rating would go up, and then had full FMV cutscenes, and there'll be specific ones for the second half of the game when you're dark side or light side or whatever, but just made perfect sense because, like I said, you've got the Force spectrum, and also had a great payoff at the end because you're fighting these dark Jedi, and if you finish the game as a light Jedi, it's the good versus evil standard boss battle at the end. But if you finish as a dark Jedi, dark versus dark, it's really hard. It's really hard to fight the final boss if you're evil because you don't have the right powers. And I thought, that's awesome because it's a surprise. You're like, oh, what the fuck? You almost wouldn't see that in games nowadays because forums would blow up. They're like, bullshit. Let's fucking boycott this studio, blah, blah, blah. I finished the game as a dark Jedi and it was hard and my mummy... great stuff though, like great stuff.
In that one, did your look, how you look change as you played evil or bad? Because
I can't remember.
Star Wars game, you get more,
I think you did
Infamous 2, you definitely get more veiny and your eyes grow redder.
I think you did get a red lightsaber.
Yes,
I think you got a red lightsaber. Even though it really is polarizing, the moral choices that we have to make, i.e. good or bad, I do like it because I look at it as you get a lot of people complaining, oh, I don't want to do the bad things, you got a lot of that with GTA. But I see it more as playing a role. Like, I love playing as Trevor in GTA, but I don't go outside and beat women in the street. But and then you've got people online going, no, uncomfortable. But it's more like playing a role. I see it more as playing a role. Like, you'd play a role in a film and, you might play a rapist, but you're not a rapist in real life.
Wouldn't choose to.
As polarizing as it is and how against your natural instincts doing some of the things in the game may feel, I think it's more, like I said, that's the point,
But I think what's interesting is, I was talking about earlier, is that you actually have kind of two different kinds of games. You have those games that have like moral choices in them, Like GTA, actually, I hadn't thought about it. GTA 4 especially had loads of these big choices. In 4, you have the moments where you can kill Playboy X or the other guy, and then there's a moment in GTA 4. It's a great moment in GTA 4 where you finally track down the dude who was trafficking you and killed your family, and with no impact on the rest of the game, you get to choose whether you kill him or not. It affects nothing for the rest of the game.
Just
like you yourself play a role, like you say. And that's great. Or you have those games like Infamous, like Fallout and Mass Effect, where they have this little needle going back and forth.
Where it's the whole thing, the whole crux of the game.
And it's both a kind of very interesting kind of type of game. Fallout does it really well because, again, there's not much punishment. You just people just react to you differently if you're good or bad. And in the end, you can just play it however you want. And
that's they go, hey, it's you! Or, it's you.
Yeah, exactly. No, some shopkeepers won't sell you stuff if you steal.
Someone paid us to kill you.
Yeah, it's true. If you make choices in Fallout. Fallout,
cool.
the Bethesda games are the kings.
This could be seen as a good or bad thing, but moral choice games kind of force it. I mean, if you want to see everything, definitely forces you to play it twice.
Yeah.
Also, moral choices, they're always connected to powers. Can't I be good and have the evil powers? What if they're the best powers? What I mean by that is that sometimes you want to choose the good path, and then it gives you loads of powers like, heal faster, and you've got a stronger shield. No, can't I have just holy fucking huge missiles that are blue instead of red? Come on. That kind of thing, more customization maybe.
Yeah. Mass Effect allowed you to do kind of play both ways at the same time without really ever punishing. I guess
it's a great example for moral.
It did. By Mass Effect 3, by the end of your final playthrough, it did shut off a few options if you were fully Renegade or fully Paragon. But there were still middle ground options, weren't there, in between that?
But then what I found with that game was that you got the dial, the dialogue dial, and the top one was always really good.
Yeah.
So you just spam that button.
I see. The conversation wheel. So
like,
even if you don't know, it's always the top. Yeah, you're right. But
sometimes wish they switched it around. So you press it by mistake, and be like, oh.
Yeah.
Even though Mass Effect is like a sprawling, really great example of the moral system in games, it's still completely polarizing of good or bad. I mean, what the ideal solution, the ideal thing that we all want is a game with loads of subtle nuance, loads of choices that lead to 1,000 different endings. But
exactly.
At the end of the day, making a game like that for devs is an impossible task, or it's just going to take us so long to get there.
This is like we want all doors to open in
but will we ever
an open world. Probably not,
so.
because
I reckon.
Think of this. This is another good example. Heavy Rain is a great example of a game that had a lot of choices in it, and it was touted as the game with the most endings, and it probably to this day still has the most divergent endings. And we've platinumed it, so we've seen the whole going back from certain points and playing it through, and it's fascinating to watch.
My first platinum,
of course, but even that, still, it can only diverge so much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you just gotta have a game that never ends.
Yeah.
So, if you take another BioWare game, which is an MMO, the Star Wars MMO, you can choose light or dark if you play a Jedi. But if you go light, you can still be bad. Yeah. And so you're effectively a Jedi, but you're like a bad.
That's good though, because you do get
a Jedi.
Because that's why stuff like Game of Thrones is so popular right now, because it's like, oh hey, we don't have to have good guys or bad guys. We have everyone.
Breaking Bad as well.
Exactly. Shades of Grey. Like this guy.
50 Shades of Grey.
This guy's on the quote unquote good team, but he's a bit of a prick. Yeah. Because that's life.
Or he does bad things. Yeah. Because he has to sometimes.
What you were saying there was good, because it reminded me. I thought about it earlier. The only way to get past this is to have games like DayZ. These totally open-ended games where everything you choose is a fucking moral choice, and there literally there's no consequence other than what happens next. Like the times we played and chose to kill a dude because he was not, we thought he was shifty, and that led to other permutations, and it's just totally generated by how you play, and that's unfortunately you're not going to get a game made by someone with a specific vision that's also completely open-ended. It just can't exist. But we might be able to have both. We might be able to have something nice and like Mass Effect and Fallout, but then you have to have something really open where you can just choose your own morality.
It just depends how creative you are when you play your games. Exactly. I mean, I did the good playthrough of Mario Brothers 1 the other day. Just didn't kill any Goombas.
That's been tricky.
Full sex with Princess at the end if you do the good ending.
That's how it works. Right?
Don't believe me? Go home and do it. Damn, that doesn't work anymore thanks to the internet.
Yeah,
fucking Luigi and Mario Brothers 64. Fucking Luigi and Mario 64.
I can't remember, is he actually in it or not?
I remember I was smart enough at the time to just think...
Is he not?
It's just a list of things, go to World 1, get Star 3, go, and I'm like, this is bullshit, and I'm not wasting my time. I knew it.
But I heard he's in the Wii U Mario Brothers.
I don't know. I've not played that game in ages, Mike.
That's the box you've got.
When are we going to play?
Oh, well, fuck. Oh, I see. Shit. Soon.
Yeah, well.
I'll
mark that in my diary then.
Good.
There are any other great examples of moral choices in games that stick out in their memory?
Covered all.
Well, there's certain specific actual choices, which get a bit spoilery, but
for what?
Fallout 3 you can easily spoil because it's old, but the very first one, the old whether you Megaton or not, and that's just a classic.
Oh, yeah.
That was good because you instantly had that impact for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and
you go to that town, there'd be nothing there.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Any items you want in the town, tough shit, they're gone now.
But that's the one of the first places you could have your own house.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But you could just
or you could just blow it up.
Yeah, but then you could still get a house, but it was
if you blow it up, you get a
else.
house like 10-penny tower.
Cool.
It's like
it's
like an expensive looking hotel.
Yeah. But you've wiped out a town.
Yeah, exactly.
You sure it wasn't a bug, guys?
So
the Megaton is like error. Megaton could not load.
Loading.
Hardlock outgo exam.
Can you guys think of any more any choices that come up that you've literally been kind of stunned by? You've had to sit there for a good 10 minutes and go.
You're right. Walking Dead is the one.
Walking Dead.
We're not going to spoil any of those.
Walking Dead's the one that I pressed the PS button, so I've got more time to make the choices. And I'm like, I just don't know. I mean, he's got a wife, but she's got that dog.
I'm not going to spoil any details, but in this
Aliens
episode 2 of season 2, there's a choice that is. It seems like if I said it, I'm not going to. It seems like the smallest thing ever. In that moment, you're there going, I can't choose.
You're eating people.
It's not people. This is episode season 2.
Yeah, no.
It's just floored me for like 10 minutes. I was like, I literally can't choose.
It's definitely Walking Dead. No, you're right, Mike. I didn't even think of that, but that's incredible. Yeah. See, it's so good. We don't even consider it a moral choice game. But don't really want to talk about the Mass Effect ending again. But I mean, that's why there was so much ire towards it, because their whole thing was, I mean, this is not verbatim, but they said we promised the best moral choice you've ever seen. Blah 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 blah. Whatever.
But I would say again,
and then the endings are just I mean, I argue to people who are upset that the third game is pretty much the ending, and you see the whole things play out in that game. But if we're all being honest, we got to the endings, the different colour palette swap out endings.
Yeah, exactly.
Got the green ending.
But I would say and it basically comes down the. Quite a trite saying about it's the journey, not the destination. That's the one. But it is. It's like Walking Dead, like Catherine. It doesn't affect how you get to the end or what happens at the end, but it's how you felt while you played it. So Mass Effect, it matters that you chose to let a certain species die. You chose to let this certain guy kill himself. It doesn't matter if in the end, fuck it, all the whatevers get blown up. It's the fact that in those moments you have those little moments that build up to this big experience. And those are the best ones, when it doesn't feel like it fucks you over. It just has it's an experience.
I don't know if it is the journey over the destination, because I much prefer being in my flat, relaxing, rather than commuting home during rush hour.
Well,
so
if the place like RPGs, I always like a little bit of an RPG element in a game. I'd always like a little bit of a moral choice system. It doesn't have to dictate the whole game. I'd love to. Even some games right at the end, they have like just one choice, and you're like, what?
I'd still like more shades of grey, not a clearly, obviously good answer, clearly bad answer. I like the grey.
Just choices that make you feel something when you're making them.
And that's definitely been captured in Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Well, Mass Effect 2, during the journey in Mass Effect 2. Yeah. Well, I've not played Catherine, but maybe I should. I was turned off by the puzzle sections. I couldn't be bothered.
When you get into them, they're tough, but they are. When you get a hang of it, you are like.
I can see my patience for puzzles at this point in my life. I'm like,
I'll give you that.
You could get drunk in the game, which affects the gameplay. Yeah. So there you go.
There is a big Mass Effect.
Is that the drunkest you've ever been, Mac?
Probably,
when you played Catherine.
quite easily.
Straight edge bookworm. I'm joking.
He doesn't read books.
God, you don't even do.
Just a worm.
I'll be the worm. Yeah, that's it.
Max, the question.
Well, I mean, that was the end of the hot topic for this episode. If you'd like to proceed to Max the question, please press X for good. If you'd like to move straight to the ending of the podcast, please press circle for bad.
Nice, good tie-in.
To close us out, it's the return of Max the Question, in which Mike fires quick fire questions at Mac just to gauge how he's feeling on this particular day. Please,
quite tired.
Fire away.
Do you have a timer? 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
Yeah.
He's got 20 seconds per question. Go.
Mac, 5 months in, how is the PS4 doing?
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, why? What's your favourite thing?
I don't know, it's got a good range of games. You've got some big games being announced and coming out later on in the year.
But right now,
Infamous and Killzone multiplayer is amazing.
Really, fashion that, yeah.
And the whole sharing feature and just party chat, loving all of it.
Next.
Good. Mac, 5 months in, how is the Xbox One doing?
How the fuck would he know?
Mr.
From what you hear!
Mr. I play more Killzone multiplayer than Titanfall.
Pretty much. From what I hear, Titanfall is pretty much the only thing worth playing on it. And just a one-trick pony. I don't see it lasting very long. People are going to get bored of it quite quickly.
That's why I like Mac.
Next.
Mac, 17 months in, how is the Wii U doing?
Oh, I forgot it's even still around.
17 months?
Yep.
It's already been outsold by PS4, so that says it all, really.
Well, does it though? What are the games? The breadth of games on the Wii U.
What games?
You saw Wind Waker this evening.
The game
Mario
came out
Kart
11
3D
years
Land.
ago.
Yeah.
Mario Kart, that's not out yet.
Mario 3D Land.
3D Land, just another Mario game, which was happened on 3DS already.
Next.
Mac, is Ground Zeroes the worst Metal Gear to date?
No, it's not.
What is it?
The worst one for me personally, Metal Gear Solid 2.
Okay, cool. Everyone seems to hate that Ground Zeroes though. What's going on?
I think it's because you need to play a bit more story. The story's a little bit further out there, even for a Hideo Kojima
Oh
game.
my good lord.
So, yeah.
So we need to read around it.
Yeah, well, no one else has finished it, so I've got no
Next question.
about it.
Mac, was Amy Hennig, head writer and creative director of the Uncharted series, forced out of Naughty Dog?
Ooh, it's an interesting question. Interesting question.
What do you think? This is your
I don't
speculation.
know. I think it's a little bit odd that she hasn't spoken out and said anything.
Why would she have been forced out? She's working on Star Wars games now.
Now she is, yeah. But I don't know. I did find it odd that she hadn't said anything.
now she is.
I find it odd she hadn't said anything
Next.
about it.
Should the Souls series end with Dark Souls 2?
No. I want more Souls.
You haven't even finished one yet.
That's
Did
fine. I
you
need
bring
more.
Dark Souls 1 for me to borrow?
No, I forgot.
Let me finish the question! It's done. We've had like 7 games in the series. What's going on?
No, we haven't. We've had 3. We need more. It's a great
They're all the
series.
same.
Hardcore gaming, the way it should be.
Okay, great.
Next.
Mac, I recently named my new cat Gulliver. What do you think I would name him?
Oh, something video game related, like Nathan Drake or
Yeah,
something.
Steve said, what's
Sully.
Michael's cat? And I said,
Sully's
Nathan
a
Drake.
great name for a cat.
Sully. As long as it wasn't Sackboy.
I call
or
him
something.
Gully a little bit. That's his
Sackboy.
nickname.
Yeah.
Sackboy the cat.
Sack cat.
Mac, what Metacritic score do you think Watch Dogs will end up with?
Ooh, I'm expecting low 80s right now.
Ooh,
I'm going
why's
to say
that? What's going on?
81. something.
81, why is that?
Do we
I
get
don't know.
Google Nexuses if we buy it, or is that just for the journalists?
Journalists.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Why
I
won't
don't
he
know.
like
It's
it?
been delayed.
They
and
are fucking desperate for those scores. I'll tell you what. Okay, let's
Max
play.
the question!
No, Fox the question.
Fox the
Watch
question.
Dogs is going to disappoint.
Of course it is.
That game is going to not be good.
It's gonna
Here,
be good.
journalists, take this Nexus. Please give us a good score. Unbelievable.
I haven't heard this. Why are they
well,
getting
they don't think that story's going to get out.
I haven't heard this.
They
What's
gave a bunch of journos who went to look at the game Google Nexuses in their little party bag. In your bag, you'll find some Watchdog water, a little Ubisoft pin, and a Google Nexus. Please give us in the 9s.
it's gonna be true. So you reckon 81 then, Mac?
I reckon it's going to disappoint. Because
Why?
it had all this hype going in, then it got delayed, and now
Yeah,
the
but that's
hype
extra time to work on it.
Yeah, but the hype's disappeared. Like,
Yeah, but that hype's too much hype can sink you. It's hype's down, so it's good.
Well, I still think it's going to disappoint.
You gonna buy it?
I don't know, maybe.
Mac, what did you get Chris for his birthday?
I got him a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, what kind of
To get
whiskey?
hammered.
Has he been hammered? How's that go?
Famous Grouse. I didn't realise they
Bruce,
changed the name.
famous Bruce.
It says Grouse on
Bruce.
it.
There's a Grouse.
It's
Loose.
like Grouse. And I'm like,
That's gross!
Grouse, I don't know. I never heard of it till today.
End of the question!
So, Mac, would you say there's a Grouse loose about this loose?
There is definitely a Grouse loose.
A boot
There's
that's
a few
loose.
Grouses loose.
So we've been running an infamous Second Son competition on Twitter. We've had a lot of interest. And now I can officially announce that the copy of Infamous Second Son on the PlayStation 4 is going to Timothy Wojtkowski.
Yes!
Woo!
You want
Good work. Good win.
PlayStation 4 games giveaway on Ready Game 5.
I'll take one of everything.
I could sort that out. Let's do this.
That's your connection.
Do I have to say that the PlayStation's better?
Yeah.
Well, it is!
We all know it's
In that case, it
Even though
definitely...
you gave me a green mic today.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's an Xbox cover.
Ooh.
And I got a blue. That's black. Don't worry. Ignore me. I'm out of here.
Congratulations to
Timothy Wojtkowski.
Congratulations. I'll be following you back and DMing you so I can get the address from you to send that game out. Thanks very much for entering. And that is the end of the 55th episode of the Ready Game Fire podcast. Thanks so much for listening. Remember, every podcast now comes in video form. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Please rate and review us. It gets us noticed. It moves us up the charts and it helps support the show. We're on Spreaker, we're on Stitcher, we're on SoundCloud if you're not on an iDevice, so get on there right now. Listen to all of our shows, please. Follow us on Twitter, please. Like us on Facebook, and if you want to email us anything longer, it's contact@readygamefire.co.uk. Thank you to the mini bosses for continuing to provide the soundtrack to Ready Game Fire. So it's goodbye from me, Chris Fox. Goodbye. Goodbye from James McNerney.
Laters.
Goodbye from Mike Power.
I'm making a choice to leave.
That's the good ending for me.
That's the best ending.
The ending, the ending where Mike leaves.
It's my favourite ending.
And it's goodbye from Jun Yoshino.
Bye-bye. Hope to be back.
Yeah,
in the near future.
Yeah.
With more free PlayStation 4 games.
Who buys
to give away.
Different giveaways, so you can go back whenever you want. Even when we're not podcasting. Thanks very much for listening. We are Ready Game Fire, and you're not.
Ready Game Fire!
Hey baby, I hear the blues are calling. Toss salads and scrambled eggs. Quite stylish. And maybe I seem a bit confused. Yeah, maybe, but I got you pegged. But I don't know what to do with those tossed salads and scrambled eggs. They're calling again. Scrambled eggs all over my face. What is a boy to do?
Delsin has left the building. Good night, everybody.
Good night!